If TSA lines stress you out, you're not alone. But don't worry, we have a few mistakes you should avoid that will help you fly through security stress-free.
Hey fam, welcome back. I'm Andrea.
And I'm Edward.
And we've been together for 30 years traveling the world. And today we're here to help navigate TSA, security, and to make sure that you're good for moving forward.
Let's go.
So tip number 1 is making sure that you start from a clear and empty bag. You may travel before, you may forget some things inside of that bag. So one of the best ways to ensure that you are not going to get caught at TSA for carrying prohibited items is to ensure that you start from a clear bag. That's number 1. We want to make sure that you check your coin pocket, your the little slots inside of bags. You may have, heck, prohibited items such as a switchblade. Not sure what you're doing with that with your previous trip, but hey, that's your thing. That's your business. You want to make sure that in general, you've checked all the pockets, all the side pockets, open up that zipper, clear all of those things out. And this actually helps TSA attendants so that they don't have to go the extra mile of trying to figure out what you may have in there, right? If you have a clear empty bag and you're putting the right items in that TSA has actually approved, then you'll have a much smoother transition going through security. And let's talk about it, being organized, right? So that already from itself will make sure that you're working from an organized bag and you know where your items are. So that's tip number 1.
And there have been incidences where people have left items in there and they went through security and they've been flagged for it. So it's just something to keep in mind. If you can start with an empty bag, it's like starting a new painting. Start with an empty canvas or blank canvas, and then you just start painting from there so you don't have to worry about having any items there that you get caught with.
All right, so tip number 2 is making sure that you do not forget the rule of the 311 for TSA. Today, we're here to give you the 411. The first part of this is making sure that you have one quart-sized bag. This bag would contain your aerosols, your gels, your liquids, anything that you want to bring of that nature. Of that bag, each item can be 3.4 ounces. And that's important to remember. So do not go over the 3.4. And what you need to know is that you can have one quart-sized bag per passenger. Okay? So that's something to keep in mind. And we want to remember that TSA, is there to help us, right? So this makes their job that much more easier if you have everything, all of your contents that are a 3.4 ounce or less, making sure that it's all contained in one quart-sized bag. Want to remember that some of the offenders of this actually is peanut butter. People consider it a solid, but TSA actually considers it a liquid. A snow globe, believe it or not, that's another one, right? It's more than 3.4 ounces of liquid, so it's often caught or flagged as something that they need to check into. Lotions, creams, all of those counts as liquids.
Yep, and we actually had a friend who was traveling recently and they were flagged with TSA because they had a bottle of lotion in their bag.
Right.
So it was larger than a 3.4 size. Another common offender is you have drinks, right? So you'll see if y'all can see that. So what it often happen is you'll bring the bottle through TSA and you'll show it to them. You're like, well, it's not a full bottle. It should be, or you can see that's less than 3.4. What you have to understand is TSA doesn't really care about how much liquid is in a bottle. They're going to go by what's on the label.
That's
all right,
exactly
so you're going to have
correct.
to toss it.
Yep. So if that bottle says 4 ounces, guess what? It's 4 ounces. It's at their discretion, so it's best to just go by 3.4. So tip number 3 is making sure that you do not make the mistake of not knowing what to bring. So when we talk about what to bring, often people are trying to think like, what can I get past security? It's not really getting past security. It's what items are already classified that you can bring, whether it's through your carry-on or whether it's in your checked luggage. And so on the TSA website and also My TSA app, you can go on and they have a search box that says, what can I bring? And this makes this super easy for you to understand exactly what is permissible and what should be checked on. So on that, on the site, you can literally put in an item, put in pizza, and you might be pleasantly surprised to understand exactly what you can bring through TSA.
Can bring snacks and food.
You can bring snacks and food. So if you put in pizza on there, it's categorized as a food. And on there, there's a table chart and it'll say, oh, you can bring this through TSA security as a carry-on, or it has to be checked in. So I'm not saying go out here and get a pizza and push it through. You can if you want, if that's what you want to eat. But I'm saying go to TSA, check out what can I bring, so that way you're already fully aware of what you can and cannot do.
And what you can also do is you can go to the website and you can look there. And if you don't see it there, or if you don't want to go to the website, you can also go on your mobile app. They have My TSA app. You can look there. You can also go to formerly Twitter, which is now X, and you can send, they have My TSA. You can send a tweet or whatever it's called at this point there to get an answer from them as well. So there's a lot of ways you can find out what you can actually bring on your carry-on.
And Facebook actually has an option as well. So don't forget that, you can use Facebook too.
So some items like lighters, tools, and batteries have special handling, but all that information is on the website.
Tip number 4 is making sure that you don't make the mistake of overpacking your bags. You want to get through security as fast as you can, right? So let's help the attendants out. Let's make sure that your bag is packed in a organized manner. You can use things like the packing cubes. The reality is when it goes through the scanner, if they can't see through the bag and there's something puzzling there, you're going to get pulled for a manual bag check. And that now delays you from getting to your gate. So let's go ahead in with the right mindset of making sure we have an organized bag.
Yeah, be neat. Don't have stuff all over the place. Your clothes can be organized in one compartment, electronics in another compartment. Just trying to get through as quick as possible. That's not hold up the line. And more importantly, don't hold me up. That's it.
It is frustrating. Tip number 5, making sure that you do not forget the acceptable ID that's needed, whether it's a driver's license, a passport, a military ID. If you don't have a passport, make sure that you go online, check, and find out what forms of ID are acceptable. As of May 7th, 2025, you have to have your real ID for domestic flights. So make sure you have that as well. If you do not have a passport, again, check, make sure that whatever federal ID is needed, you have it. Children under 18 do not need to have an ID. So as long as they are, as long as they are flying with a companion. So you want to make sure you know that as well.
And they have to be old enough.
They have to be. What do you mean? They have to be old enough?
Companion, they're traveling with their little sibling or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. So anybody that's over 18 or an adult, let's put it that way. And the other thing is, don't be one of those people that forget where their boarding pass and their ID is, and they're looking for it up at the counter. So make sure you have those things as well, and make sure that they're readily accessible.
The other thing to know is when you are traveling internationally, your passport is your ID, not your driver's license, because you're traveling outside of the country.
If you could hit that like button, we would appreciate it.
And tip number 6 is to make sure, do not make the mistake of not giving yourself enough time and not arriving early. TSA recommends that for domestic flights, you arrive at least 2 hours early. For international flights, arrive at least 3 hours early. And definitely for those international flights, you have to take into account that oftentimes, depending on where you're going, maybe smaller airports or airports that you are not familiar with. So give yourself enough time. Do not be on CP time, fam. And for you that don't know what CP time is, you can look it up in the Urban Dictionary or go somewhere else. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Remember, if you're arriving at the airport, especially if you're going to be driving, take into account the time of day.
Parking.
Yes, security lines, All those different things, whatever you have to do. The other thing that is great when you arrive on time is that it allows you enough time to go to the restroom, get you some additional food or whatever, so you can be at the boarding gate when they're ready to go. So don't be running through the airport last minute. I'm about to tell my age for a second. Don't be OJ. You know what I mean? Trying to run through the airport, hopping over stuff and all that stuff, right? Be on time. And definitely, if you're with us and you're not on time, we're not holding up the airplane for you for nothing.
We'll catch you when we catch you.
Absolutely. All right. Tip number 7. If you are traveling with a firearm, do not forget to declare your firearm at the ticket counter. All right. So if you are packing that heat, okay, you don't want no smoke. You don't want no smoke. You're going to get all the smoke that you don't want. All right. So what you have to understand is you cannot travel with a firearm in your carry-on bag. You must declare it at the counter. It also needs to be locked in a hard shell case, and your ammunition needs to be stored appropriately. Separated. Okay. Yeah. So the thing to understand as well is you cannot show up with any firearm parts going through the TSA screening through carry-on is not going to be allowed. All right. I was reading an article recently. I believe it was Wichita, Kansas, or one of those airports. There were, I think it was 7 people that had showed up with loaded firearms. It was 8 firearms. I'll link the article here. It was 8 firearms that they were trying to get through airport security. And guess what happened? You want to take a guess?
They got some smoke.
They got that smoke that they didn't want. All right. So just be mindful that there are some legitimate reasons, because people are like, why would you travel with firearms? Mm-hmm. There are some legitimate reasons. Maybe you're in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Maybe that you're going to, I don't know, like a gun show or some type of shooting contest or whatever.
You're in security.
Yeah, you're in security. All right. So you just need to declare it, and you need to pack it and travel accordingly. Tip number 8, don't make the mistake of not knowing what type of screening technology you will be going through when you arrive at TSA security. All right, so basically, similar to a CAT scan or X-ray, you'll have to put your bags on a conveyor belt, and you're going to send them through. The TSA agents, they're looking for any items that may be of concern. So you'll also walk through a scanner. So they're looking for metallic and non-metallic threats. All right. So whatever those may be, you just need to be aware of it. So definitely, weapons like knives, guns. Mm-hmm. Okay. Non-metallic threat could be the liquids that we talked about, or maybe you have an item on you that is not necessarily metal, but it is also a threat.
So you know what? So that's actually a really good point. So people who have had a hip replacement or some type of surgery where they have a metal rod in them, whether it's your toes, whether it's your hip, your legs, whatever it might be, that's something to be mindful, because they will pull you over and you'll have to do a manual search instead of going through the scanner. So something to keep in mind.
And if you are flagged by one of the TSA agents and you are one of the people that they're going to search or, bring to the side, just stay calm, right? Don't show off, because I promise you what is going to happen to you. You're going to get that smoke, and guess what? You're going to get that clang clang on your wrist.
You won't be getting on that flight. You can put it that way.
So those little toy handcuffs that you packed in your bag, you're going to get the real ones. I promise. The real ones. All right. Stay calm, get through security, and most importantly, don't hold me up. All these tips are about me.
It's all about you.
It's all about me. All right. Tip number 9, do not make the mistake of not separating your electronics and your other items, okay? Primarily your food items. Mm-hmm. And I know, some of you may know, like, oh, I didn't know I could bring food through. Yes, you can bring food through security. Oftentimes you can bring like snacks through security, okay? If you bring any liquids, let's think about like soup or peanut butter, right? It has to follow the 311 rule that she explained in our previous tip, all right? We also have seen people bring pizza through security.
That's right.
Especially if they're traveling with a lot of teenagers or kids, because the cost of airport food, especially for like 5 or 6 people, it's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So they may bring pizza through. What you have to understand is, if you're bringing food through security, oftentimes it may, I won't necessarily say oftentimes, but it may need to be checked So maybe they just ask you to open the
box.
open the box so
Make
they can
sure
take
it's
a
a
look
real
at it.
piece and not something else, right?
Exactly. So again, this goes back to all these tips kind of build on one another. So again, with the electronics, if you have like a gaming console, maybe you have like the Switch, or with us, we travel with a lot of electronics. So our cameras, our chargers, batteries, all those things, we'll pack them separately, and then we can just take that out and put them in the individual bins and slide them through security. Okay.
And don't forget, some people have to travel with a CPAP machine. You want to make sure that that's separated again from your other items, because it'll just be easier going through TSA with that. You know what? And this is a really good time to bring this up. We talked about the CPAP machine, but I'm going to circle back for those that are diabetics. And if you have insulin, in that case, you may have, sometimes they have those thermos type containers, or
really any medication you got to
cups.
keep cool.
Any medicine that you have to keep cool. If you have that, please go ahead and separate that from your actual bag. It'll be much easier, because when they see that needle or they see something that is eye-catching, they're going to already call you over for a manual check. So it's better to already have that stuff separated and make your life go a little bit easier.
And the other thing, be mindful with what she said is, if you're traveling with that and you need to keep it cool, right? So you're going to typically have an ice pack, or if you decide to put ice in there, you have to make sure that it remains frozen throughout the time. If it starts to liquefy, it then falls into that 311 rule. So if it's more than 3.4 ounces of liquid, they're going to make you at least discard the liquid. I don't think they're going to make you get rid of your medicine.
Yeah.
All right. So just be mindful of that as you're going through. Mistake number 10. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't call it a mistake. This is truly a tip. Okay. So we recommend, or I don't want to say recommend, we would suggest, all right, you consider getting gently suggest considering getting TSA PreCheck, right? So TSA PreCheck is a expedited screening process that allows you to go through TSA without having to take off your belt, your shoes, and take all the items out of your bag. All right. So when you arrive at the airport, when you arrive at the check-in gates, not the check-in gates, but the security lines, oftentimes I'm sure you've seen like the long security line, and you've seen other people just kind of walk through another line kind of to the front. And I know you've been like, well, what is that? Because we were like that for a while. All right. That's just the expedited process. So people, what they've done with TSA PreCheck, they've had to submit an application, and they also went through a background check. Okay. So once you do that, and if you get approved, then you have your TSA PreCheck. The cost is somewhere between like $78 and $85 right now. In our next video, we're going to detail the process and the difference between TSA PreCheck and something else that's called global entry.
So one of the things that actually might be helpful if you're not trying to put out that type of money, often credit cards have some type of reimbursement process. So depending on which one you have, that might be an opportunity for you to actually get TSA PreCheck for free.
It's true.
Check it into it. All right, fam, that wraps up today's video. So we just want to thank you for sticking around. Make sure you stay for those outtakes at the end. Whether you are new to flying or you are experienced, hopefully today's tips will help you breeze through TSA.
And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe, even leave us a comment. Get ready for action.
All right, fam, before my husband comes back, thank you for watching.
I'm back.
I almost had it. I almost had y'all all to myself.
All right, and remember, if you're going through security and you get flagged, just stay calm. Ma'am, what you have here? Come here. You're concealing these two items right here. What's this? Exactly. You got two concealed weapons? Huh? It's like two little lumpy.
Boo!
Oh, my bad.
You want to make sure that when you go through TSA, you can. Is it TSA?
Yeah, we're going through TSA. You going somewhere?
Where we going?
I'm going through TSA. She gonna be by herself.
Whatever. Tip number 5 is making sure that you have the.
Don't make the mistake of bringing the wrong stuff. You need to know what you need to bring. Don't show up that joint with your little Parks and Rec card trying to get through TSA.
Stupid.
Show up. Your bags need to be neat. Don't have stuff all over the place.
Oh,
all right.
Look at you. Show off.
It's not show off. You just keep supporting me, baby.
I got you, boo.
You got me, boo.
I got you, boo.
Get that firearm.
Right.
Pew, pew, pew,
Want some smoke?
Don't want no
You
smoke.
don't want that smoke.
Nope, I'm not about that life. Not about that life. Okay, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching our video. And remember, until next time, travel different, travel all in.